Hello there, and welcome to the Ask Time Film Podcast, where we talk film, TV, games, and all that jazz. Let us know tomorrow. This week, we're talking about Star Wars Visions. My name is Tom, and as always, I'm joined with my co-host John. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Yeah, just can't wait to talk about some of the stuff that I've been watching and also Star Wars Visions. So,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely. Well,
Mm,
let's not waste any time. Let's get straight
yes.
into it. Why don't we? Full spoilers
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh, yeah, spoilers. Just get some popcorn or just anything to watch the Star Wars Visions. There have been
Yeah.
some strange episodes to go
Hmm.
through. I mean, the second the second one was a bit
Hmm.
um
Well, okay, so to start off with, let's just talk about full season thoughts as like a full thing. What did you think?
so for really I enjoyed it. Some of the parts that I really liked, especially episode one. For let me get the some of the episodes on the screen. Yeah, so I really liked one, four, six, and eight. I thought these were really strong episodes, but
Yes.
some of the other episodes, the
I agree.
twins,
So for those of you who have
and
watched it, that's The Duel, The Village Bride, TOB1, and Lopinocho.
Lapanocho. That's a great one.
Yes, I, I
And
I I agree. I think those are some of the strongest episodes.
yeah, but there have been some episodes that have been like have really weak
Mm,
storylines and really
mm.
uh over. It was underwhelming stuff as well. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't. It didn't really fit in some of the stuff, especially the Tatooine Rhapsody. What what the heck was
Well,
that?
let's
That was like yeah. Let's
yeah.
go from the start. Let's go from
Yeah,
the start.
let's do episode by episode. Let's start with The Duel, right?
Oh yeah.
I think so. It's worth saying that every episode is visually stunning. It
Yes,
says
I
it says
agree.
it in the title of the video. Star Wars Visions is beautiful. It is beautiful. It is
Mm.
absolutely breathtaking. The fact
Oh
that we have got like nine different anime studios just doing what they want with Star Wars, non-canon stuff is so cool, so refreshing. You know,
yeah.
this is coming from Disney and Lucasfilm, who, they are businesses and they're just saying, hey, make what you want. And I think that is amazing. That makes me so happy. So yeah, seeing the beauty of these things there was something to like in all of them just because of how they looked visually.
Yeah, and like how each studio created their own story. How they thought about Star Wars in their own mind. Like what Star Wars was meant for them, and they added their own ideas and like how crazy it was. Like the first episode, the duel, like that is so cool. Like with the visual art and with like some of the traditions, like some of the you can see it, don't you? Like with the samurai swords as well.
Yeah,
Like
well,
that's
immediately when I saw this, you've got it black and white, and it's almost as if it's an old film with the
like the
scratches on
Seven
the
Samurai.
screen. Yeah, right. It gave me Kurosawa vibes, and obviously
Mm,
Star Wars is heavily influenced by Kurosawa samurai films. So
yeah,
immediately, I think it was really, really cool to get that connection. That was amazing, and this episode just grips me in immediately by these
yeah.
visuals. The fact that
Oh,
it's black and
yeah.
white, but all of the lights are still colored. So you still
Mm,
get the satisfaction of the lightsabers. That stuff I think was a really nice aesthetic choice.
yeah, and I really liked the samurai swords, and
Mm.
especially that in the plot twist. Well, if it's a plot twist, so you can see it in the trailers, but the plot twist that the guy that we've been looking through is a Sith, and we see two Siths fighting each other. Cool samurai swords, the two villains fighting in the village, and he's got a droid as well, and it really fitted well, like how um, the ideology of the Siths have been ruling over for many years, and then there's one Sith who really doesn't want to do that anymore. It's really interesting how they've done that.
Yeah,
How they
it's interesting to see different layers of the Sith. Normally,
yeah,
what we've seen in the
exactly, that's
Star
what I meant.
Wars universe, dark side unit users are very much kind of they want power, they want, life, of course there's nuance in that, especially in Legends, but if we're thinking about, just canon, I mean, technically this could fit anywhere. So there's a little bit of wiggle room, but seeing a Sith who's just, said no and wants the peaceful life, I think is a very interesting twist on that.
Yeah, and it was so cool to watch. Like again, the visual art and what else I want to talk about. I don't know, story
Oh, I feel
wise.
like every episode kind of centers around the Force and Force users and lightsabers, and I think that I really enjoyed how, they obviously, all the episodes, the longest episode was 23 minutes, but they're mostly like in between like the 13-minute and 17-minute mark, so short episodes, shorter than any other Star Wars TV show that isn't like a series of shorts. And I really liked
the Star
how
Wars holiday special.
oh no, unfortunately the
no.
Star Wars holiday special is much longer than
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Oh, good.
But yeah, that is, I think it's really cool that that it was mystical, and there was a beauty to it, like they didn't waste any time, showing, like, explaining things most of the time. I think there was heart and emotion, and it kind of gave, like, the mysticism of the Force relevant weight, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I could see it, and like how refreshing it was to see, because in like some of the Star Wars stuff, we didn't like properly see some of the stuff, like the visions, like it's non-canonical, but like it's like experimental with some of the stuff with Star Wars. What can we do with this, or what we can do with that as well.
Definitely. I think each episode, because it's an anthology, and every episode, whether or not they make a season 2 and whether or not they decide to continue, because there are definitely some episodes that you could, do more with,
create a story on.
Yeah, I think most of the episodes you could expand on more, and whether they want to do a season 2 and bring back the same studios or, new studios. Like, I think that the beauty of it is that each episode, has its own statement and, makes you think in its own unique way, without kind of taking ages to get there. You think about something like The Bad Batch, where there's so many episodes that don't really do anything for the overall plot or like all the character development. But I think that this show, because of its length and because of the style of it, I would say that I enjoyed this more than The Bad Batch, purely because there was something new in every episode. And I feel like for the most part, all of the characters were really well realized.
Yeah. And I really liked how, you didn't get have a lot of knowledge into the episodes. I mean, not like you go into the episode and it just gives you an idea of what it is. I mean, this is like 14 or 18 minutes of the episode, and then it just gives you like huge world building and of like the characters and like the past, like that quick, and it's just so engaging to have that. But then, like, it's so hard to create a story within 18 minutes. Like, I mean, it's Star Wars, like it's a whole universe, but I really liked how it's very snappy, like how simple it was, not to be like complex for too many characters.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't world spanning. It wasn't a galaxy hopping adventure. It was just, here we are on this planet and we are with this group of characters. They don't really feel, and I feel like the show struggled the most when it had different characters, like multiple characters to develop. When it focused on maybe 3 or 4, I feel like it wasn't as bad. But then sometimes when you have like a big cast of characters, then it gets like, so like in terms of the duel, basically you've got maybe 4 characters at the most. You've got, like your protagonist, antagonist, and then like the chief of the village and the person who helps fix the droid, and all of these people, you understand the dynamic of the village, very well, and the kind of people they are in relation to the protagonist. You understand, the protagonist kind of view on war. And I think just the fact that we understand that so well means that they can just then have like 10 minutes of action, and it's fine because you already understand the characters really well. I mean, when the antagonist got out the like spinning lightsaber of death, That's something you couldn't get away with anywhere else. If that was in a Star Wars like film, there would be public outcry on the streets.
Oh
Even if
yeah,
that was
like
in something like the Clone Wars or the Mandalorian, people wouldn't accept it. But because it's here, because it's in this one-off thing that it's just super stylistically rich, it's just like you can get away with anything, and they really do. And I think it was awesome.
yeah, and like how crazy it was. Especially there's like so many insane moments in the show. Like especially like the duel. Right, no, which yeah, that one as well. That for example, and then but there was like some underwhelming and but crazy stuff as well, like the twins. That was a bit weird. That was
Yeah, no,
really
I get that.
intense.
I think just final thoughts for me on the duel. I really liked how the battle, because it was mostly, this really really nice duel. I liked how it progressed in terms of it goes from like on land to across like a river and then like underneath a waterfall. And I think that's what the
Oh
best
yeah,
Star Wars duels do. Like you think about Duel of the Fates or Anakin versus Obi-Wan, they're moving constantly and going into different terrains, fighting, and I think that's what makes it cooler. And also why some Star Wars duels aren't as interesting or exciting to watch, because they're largely just staying in the same place or in the same kind of arena of kind of like same terrain in a way. But yeah, I thought the duel was a really good way to start it. You're
yeah,
getting
a
you're
strong
getting like a
introduction.
simple, yeah, you're getting a simple samurai story, which holds a lot of weight. The characters that there's not like a whole lot of they don't need to like delve into characters too much, because the simplicity of it tells you everything you need to know. And I feel like therefore they got away with some excellent action.
Yeah, and with the smooth and stunning visual animation as well.
Yes,
And yeah,
it was a
it was a
kind of
great.
it was kind of like a blend of 2D and 3D animation in this first
Yeah,
episode. And
and it,
sometimes that really can't work, I think, but I think it did work in this one.
yeah, and yeah, with the character developments, I thought this was a great introduction to see what the studio had. What was the studio for this? Was it Trigger?
Ooh, I do
I don't
not
know.
know.
Oh well,
I'll look
because
that up.
um,
But yeah,
but
so
yeah,
shall we talk about Tatooine Rhapsody
t-
next?
yeah.
Go on, tell me about it then. What do you think?
What was this episode? Okay, so
Okay, so the duel was
basically,
done by Kamikaze Duja. And so Tatooine Rhapsody is Studio Colorido. So yeah, this was definitely my least favorite episode of the season.
yeah, same. It I can't even describe what. Okay, so it's basically a band who gets tracked down by Boba Fett,
Mm.
and one of the band members is getting tracked. Well, he's the bounty. Yeah, is the bounty, and then he gets taken away by Jabba, and then the final sequence is them just playing in Tatooine.
Mm.
I forgot the place. I forgot the name of the place. They
It's
do the
it's Mos Espa where they did the pod
yeah,
race
Mos Espa. Yeah.
in Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
Nice
yeah,
little callback. Of all of the episodes, I think
yeah,
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the only one that has a planet that we know of and we have seen before. And obviously, you can't.
yeah.
Apparently, we
You're
can't
right.
have a single Star Wars thing without going to Tatooine. I can't even. I don't. The Bad Batch might not have been to Tatooine, in fairness, but like most Star Wars like projects, they just love going to Tatooine. It's just iconic.
Yeah, they just love it. Like especially the Force Awakens. Wait, no, isn't it on? No, it wasn't on Force
Mm.
Awakens. Sorry.
No,
That's a different planet.
it's not in well, in fairness, like
It kind of looked like it
deserts.
kind of
Like the sequel trilogy loves its deserts.
deserts. Yes, sand. Anakin. Yeah. So Tatooine Rhapsody. This one was convoluted. It just felt like too many characters at once. It was just a
Yeah.
bit.
I will say that
Uh,
go on, yeah, go on.
oh yeah. So with too many characters and with it was a weak storyline. I just didn't have like anything really interested involved, because especially this one was about music. I thought it was a bit weird, because mainly about like Star Wars Visions is about like, uh I mean, if you compare this to the rest of the episodes, most of the episodes is just more Jedi, what they're learning about, like going through the universe, and how they're going to solve their resolutions. But this one, it was just an odd one out, really.
This one's less spiritual. It's not really
Yeah,
about the
that's
kind
spiritual.
of,
Yeah, yeah,
it's not about like a, like an emotional journey in the same way that the others are connected to the Force. It's more just about, like a group of friends. And I think that because the episode was only about 15 minutes long, I didn't get attached to the friends. I mean, it's fair to say that the
yeah,
animation is
exactly.
still good.
Yeah,
It still looks visually stunning. I think the action
yeah.
sequences with Boba Fett were fun. But my big problem was it's just a
Mhm.
rock band in space. It's
Yes,
not like
exactly.
any of the other like music that we've seen in Star Wars, where you've got like Max Rebo playing his weird like piano thing, or fingering down on the modal nodes, like like with the classic Cantina song. Like
Ah,
those are
yes, the
like space
Cantina song.
instruments played by weird aliens. And for this, yes, there are aliens and droids and stuff, but it's like guitars and like just like regular rock music. And I feel like if you're gonna do that in space, I would want a bit more, like literally like for other things in Star Wars, like in The Force Awakens, Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote a song for Maz Kanata's Castle, which was performed by J.J. Abrams, which is the
Oh,
weirdest thing ever. But he wrote that, and it sounds like something that you would hear in space, whereas this just sounds like, you've got a recording of something from Earth. It didn't sound like, anything that I would expect, music to be like in the Star Wars universe.
and it just felt, out of place with some of the
Yes.
stuff that was going through, and like story wise, it yeah, I said it was weak, but like what else I didn't like? I mean, again, music. I can get why, it's a group of friends, but I didn't have a, what you said, no attachment to them, which I can also understand. I had no attachment to the characters because I felt like it was a bit rushed. I felt, well, it is 15 minutes, but it's just rushed. And it it music doesn't really fit into the Star Wars universe. What you said again, but it wasn't spiritual at all. I don't know what
Yeah,
to say
in
a lot
this
about
case,
this.
the music, I think the music let it down.
Hmm.
But
Especially at
yeah,
the end. Yeah,
yeah, right.
like
It's like the big moment is supposed to be them all playing like a rock concert, but it's to me at least it's nothing I mean, I guess if you live in the Star Wars galaxy, you've never heard music like that before, you might be really excited, but for
and
us,
then
nothing special.
Javin must be like, what are they playing? What just standing like around in the arena and just like, what is this?
What's
Rap?
going on? I will say it was fun to, I don't know, did you watch this episode? Did you watch this show in the Japanese or the English version?
Um, okay, to be honest, right. I watched I watched the Duel in Japanese,
Okay.
dub, and but then as I tried to listen throughout the Japanese, I was a bit I don't know how to describe it. I went back to English dub. I don't know why I did this, but I just felt I wanted to.
Disoriented.
Yeah, it was a bit distant. What you said, I can't even speak today. But about like that, I wanted to get like that whole immersive, like from the studios, what they put into. But I went back to the English dub, and I felt a bit more comfortable, like what
Yeah, I watched
understand.
it. I watched it in English too, and I just think it's worth pointing out that it was, I think all the actors are doing a great job, and it was
Yeah,
really
I
fun to see Tamara Morrison as Boba Fett in Tasking Rhapsody. That was like
hmm,
really cool. Like
yeah.
you didn't have to get Tamara Morrison. You could have got D. Bradley Baker or just somebody else, like obviously, D. Bradley Baker, and all the clones and stuff, but getting Temuera Morrison, who obviously now is making his, impact as Boba Fett in The Mandalorian and in the Book of Boba Fett, which will be coming soon. Like, that's just cool, like it's just really cool. And I think Boba Fett is awesome. We all know he is.
Yeah, of course he is. Of course, man. And especially Boba Fett, we're going to get more news on that from
yes.
Disney Plus
Day, yes, in the beginning of November. So I presumably we'll get a Book of Boba Fett trailer then.
Ooh, yeah,
exciting. So yes, the next one is The Twins, which is the one done by Trigger.
Oh yeah, Trigger. There we go. Yeah.
This one might just be this is just the one that just didn't stand out too much to me. It wasn't my least favorite, and I think that was Tatooine Rhapsody. But Tatooine Rhapsody was more memorable. This just kind of faded into the background. It was just like a kind of alternate reality where it was almost as if Luke and Leia were the heads of the Empire. And I mean, again, visually stunning. Great voice work. Neil Patrick Harris plays the brother. I thought that was fun. I liked recognizing his voice. Yeah. He's done loads of voice work. He played Spider-Man in a video game once. I think it was a video game. Yeah, one of the video games. I'll look it up. But yeah, it just didn't really leave an impact for me, this one.
Yeah, it was overwhelming with a lot of the animation, but I thought the animation was cool in this one. I thought, it was like crazy, but again, the relationship, like the dynamics between the brother and sister was a bit weak. Like I didn't have that connection at all. Like what was giving out.
So really quickly, Neil Patrick Harris voiced Spider-Man in Shattered Dimensions and in the new animated series.
Oh
yeah, cool.
Oh again, where I was like, yeah. So the dynamic, and I thought with some of the character developments, there was like no character developments in this one. I thought this one was a bit weird. Like it was more focused on all of the stuff. Really, I don't know. It was just like,
it was just like the brother's trying to convince the sister, and the sister's not budging, and then it just kind of There was
and the
Kyber
battle
crystals.
Was
cool. The Kyber crystals. It was cool, but it wasn't anything that I was like, yes, this is a highlight for me.
Yeah, and I thought like they could have focused on the Kyber crystals, but then it was more about the fight between the brother and sister, and again we didn't actually see the character motivations for these. Like, okay, they were born and raised in the Empire, but then what was the different motivations, like the brother, why is he going to be a Jedi, and then the sister wants to continue being the into the Empire. It was a bit hard to struggle to get to see what the characters are trying to do in this episode.
I agree, and you spoke about world building, and I agree that most of the episodes have really good world building, but this is one of the ones where I feel like the world building was just kind of like, it's the Empire, and it's like, okay, but it's clearly not the Empire. Like, can we expand a little bit on how it's different? And I just didn't really feel that. Again, I don't know if they want to continue the story, if they want to do a season 2 or anything, but it just wasn't hugely memorable.
Yeah, I thought it was just on the Star Destroyer, just like that. No, it's not the Star Destroyer. Is it the Star Destroyer?
It's like it's some variant on a Star Destroyer. So
there's 70 ships. There's 70 ships that the names. But I was about to say the Death Star. I was like, no, John.
No,
it's the Star Destroyer.
No, John. Star Destroyer.
No.
That one wasn't too memorable for me, but what was memorable, episode 4, The Village Bride, might be my favorite episode. Possibly. So this one is done by Kinema Citrus. Cool. I think this one was the most emotionally resonant to me. I thought the music, I'm not sure if all the music is done by the same composer throughout the series, but this episode, the music stood out the most to me. There were some really incredible moments, like when they see the kind of history of the nature. beautiful sequence.
Oh,
Um,
beautiful sequence.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
at the end, when the Jedi reveals herself, that was really powerful, really emotional. I really felt that, you know.
Mm,
I loved that
yeah,
moment.
and yeah, again, like with the smooth animation, really reinforces like uh, the backstory of this nature of the planet and like how beautiful it was. But then the Empire was like destroying it with its people, and what they're doing to this planet. And again, like the characters are, I thought I had a more emotional alignment with these characters. Like there was a lot more connection, like what were they doing, especially with the couple. Like they wanted to do something well with this planet. And then the Jedi, like we see this huge change that through the episode. Like at the start, she was a bit, skeptical. Am I saying it right?
Skeptical.
Skeptical. Okay, wait. I need to look on Google now. I'm sorry. Skept. How do I say it, man?
Skeptical.
Skeptical.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
spectacle, but
Yeah,
skeptical.
yeah. Spectacle.
Oh, Neil.
Right.
What I loved about this one is
she was
that
a bit doubtful. She was a bit doubtful
yes,
at the beginning, like what she was doing, and then when she had that sudden realization, like what everyone was trying to do, and then at the end, it was like so emotional about like I want to be the Jedi. How nature. I forgot. It is on along the lines, and then she
yeah.
pulls out the samurai sword, the yellow one. It was a cool one. I really like
Oh,
that
I
one. And
mean,
then
yellow is probably my favorite lightsaber color. Whenever I'm playing Fallen Order, I pop a yellow kyber crystal in, and yeah, yellow, orange,
mhm.
whatever. Very, very nice.
Yeah,
I love that
yeah.
aesthetic. What I liked about this one is we've only really seen like marriage in the form of Anakin and Padme, and even then we don't really like get to explore it in any way.
Mm.
Um, Obviously there are other characters who've been married, but like we haven't really explored it in any significant way. I enjoyed that this explored what this planet's marriage ceremony is like. I mean, first of all, mad props to my guy for carrying his fiance all the way up that mountain. That's got to be really like hell on your back.
Mm.
But like yeah, we find out that like like it's like kind of a bit of a ritual that like she can't touch the floor with like her bare feet, and like they have to like stand on like the top of the mountain, and they have this like really like tender moment, and then like you kind of get a bit of like the after party, and I thought that was really really nice to explore. Again, there are so many things in this show that come back to spiritual connections to the force, connections to nature, connections to people around you, and I think that they came out in some really emotional moments, like the bride's sister, like not wanting her to like give herself up to the raiders, and then the raiders
Mm.
like almost taking both of them. I thought that was really really cool.
Yeah.
And again, like you got all that stuff, but at the end, but then you get some sweet action as well, which is always appreciated with with the Jedi revealing herself and the sniper helping her out. Just cool stuff,
Mm.
really.
Yeah, really cool episode that I really liked, and like it really fit. It was refreshing. I don't know. Again, this is Star Wars Visions. It's not non-canonical to anything, but I wish with the new trilogy that we had, Force Awakens, um, The Last Jedi, and then Rise of Skywalker. Those um, that was a bit different because I wished Star Wars didn't go to that reboot thing, but again, I don't know. It was a bit sad, like to think about like what Star Wars what could have done with like what
Mm.
would experimented with some of the stuff like what they
I
could
mean,
do, but then
I think it's fair to say that the sequel trilogy could have taken more risks, and I understand that with Force Awakens, they didn't want to take risks. They wanted to make something safe that the audience would
yeah,
like and the audience would remember, and I think that's fair enough. Even though some of the
that's fair.
abandoned
Yeah, that's fair.
concepts would
Yeah.
have been great, and I think that they should have. Obviously, like Last Jedi was a lot more risky, a lot more experimental, and it didn't
I
work
can
for a lot of
appreciate that. That
people.
was great.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. And I just think that Disney then got cold feet, and that's why we have Rise of Skywalker instead of Duel of the Fates, which I think would have been a much better ending to the trilogy. But yeah, I'm happy that this show takes risks,
Yeah,
because
I'm glad
sometimes
because it's so
sometimes Star
cool.
Wars doesn't, basically.
Yeah, like Star Wars, what Star Wars couldn't do, but this is so awesome to see what they can do. But yeah,
100%.
really enjoyed this episode, The Village Bride. So
Yeah,
cool,
me
so
too.
cool.
Next is The Ninth Jedi by Production IG. This is the longest episode, actually, coming in at 23 minutes. I think that this one is one that I would definitely like to see expanded on if they do a season two, if they want to bring back Production IG or any of the other studios. I think this is one of the ones that I think there's a lot more to tell. But with the story we got, I think it was very interesting, getting this mystery, these layers of mystery, like why have they been sent there? Like who is the person who sent the Jedi there? And then you get like the twist that half of them are Sith, and the whole like thing about like, again, connection. The daughter of the sabersmith has a lightsaber, and as she fights more with it and as her connection to the Force grows, the lightsaber's color becomes more defined, which is such a cool concept. Like that's really, really cool. And yeah, I think that this episode, starting off a bit slow, but I think definitely brought it in the climax.
Yeah, I picked up its pace, what it's trying to show, and like what's happening. Again, I really liked the idea of lightsabers. Like what color it brings out, like the true color in you. Like it's green, purple, blue, and I really like that. It shows like character development within the fights. Something like that, and such a cool concept. I really like. I really like that one. Yeah, and the story. Yeah, story was really interesting to see. How the characters come together and see what they're doing, and the whole. Not, it wasn't even a plot twist, but it was kind of seeing. That the what's the Margrave? Yeah, the Margrave. He was there all along. Ooh, yeah.
That was a weird thing where he revealed himself and said, "I've been here all along," and it's like, yeah, thank you. Yeah, didn't know that. Didn't figure that one out myself.
Yeah,
Um,
no, we did not know that you were in that giant robot after all. No.
oh, whoa, what a twist!
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, I think this episode was especially good at world building as well.
Yeah, especially
Um,
yeah.
like small things like, okay, so in canon, we've seen how Jedi form their lightsaber. It's like a connective thing of the Force where they don't build it like you would, like an engineer would, but you get to see like a lightsaber smith, which I think is really, really cool. You get to see the daughter of the lightsaber smith taking like a space taxi or something, like onto like the space station with this really look like really like cool. I just think it's really cool the way you don't need to have like such detail in the robot being like there, trying to drink his oil and just being like, I'm on my break, and like it's like a broken down place, but they do.
Yeah.
And I think like there's just some really cool like things in that. And I, especially towards the end, there are some really, really cool visuals with the red lightning, the red Sith lightning. I thought that was just
Oh yeah.
awesome.
And I really liked, how the plot twist again. There was another plot twist, but like all the other lightsabers return red. I was like, oh
Yes,
oh
that was a good reveal. Very, very good
yeah,
way
that
of
was a good
revealing it
reveal.
all.
I thought that was like
In
slowly building up. Sorry, that
yeah,
was like slowly building up to like what was happening, and that was really good. It wasn't too rushed that it was that, but really, really interesting how all the other Jedi's became revealed to be the Sith, and like, oh wow, that's really interesting to see. So
yeah, I
yeah,
agree, and I
yeah,
think this is one of the first. I think there are a couple of episodes, but this is one of the first ones that ended on a. I think they will continue this route because it ended and the guy was like, "Come with me and help restore peace," and then they fly off, and it's like, I am so very like I'm pretty sure that like that means they want to continue the story somehow, and yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I like a lot of this season, but particularly this episode is focused around the lightsaber and the connection and the mythology around the lightsaber. The final shot of the Ninth Jedi is of the beam coming out of the space station, and then it turns upside down, and it like and it looks like a lightsaber. Like I love the way that they have mythologized the lightsaber. As you say, it's connected to like samurai swords and has like a connection with like families and like with power in a way. Like you're not seeing like loads of people like in the prequels having lightsabers, but simultaneously it's special enough that it's like a big moment. And I think in each episode when they use lightsabers and then when they finally like take them out, I think it's also a very unique take on it, and I think that's excellent.
Yeah, we love the idea. Yeah, one of the strong episodes, I think, if I think about it a lot more than the Ninth Jedi, but
I
really,
agree.
really, really good concept. Yeah.
So the next episode is TOB1, which is done by Science Saru. You said this is one of your favorites, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I really like this one as well. Because I really, really like the going through the character development with this robot called TOB1 or Toby. And the
one of the funniest lines in this episode, one of the funniest lines in this episode was when he was like, my name is Toby and I'm a Jedi. It was just like because obviously I know that like it's like, but like it's not like what I would associate with as a Star Wars name. Just like I am Toby. It's like Toby Maguire just being like I'm a Jedi.
That is a weird sentence, but yeah, I'm a Jedi. Woo woo. But
woo
woo. But this one, I thought you had more emotion to it. Like
yes.
I forgot that. Well, the scientist. So the scientist that he has no arms, and he builds these robots to help him with daily tasks and to rebuild life with the plant with the ecosystem on the planet. I don't know what's it called. Is it Tatooine?
Nah, no, it's not Tatooine. It's too.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I liked the way that they explored. Again, it's like they haven't really explored that kind of thing. Like limb loss in Star Wars is a fleeting thing. You someone chops off your arm, don't worry about it. We'll just give you a robotic one. But like this is a very interesting take on that. It's not quote unquote fixing the disability. It's more like respecting it and seeing how someone might live with that in the Star Wars universe without just fixing it simply. And I thought that was really, really cool. Again, world building, awesome stuff. And with the ecosystem, as you said, like just a simple farmer and scientist, I think it's a concept that we love to see.
Yeah. And I wish there was like a whole story on the robots in Star Wars. I mean, you've got the story, if you haven't read Star Wars from a point of view for episode 4, that has really good stories on the robots in episode 4.
Yes, it's got a story about the R2 unit whose motivator explodes, right?
Yeah.
There is actually a droid show coming. There was already a
droid. Really?
There was already a droid show called Star Wars Droids in like the 80s or 90s. Apparently it's really bad. I haven't seen it. But there's a new Star Wars show coming called I want to say it's called Droid Tales, but I know that's a Lego Star Wars parody. I will try and find out what it's called. Star Wars Droid Show.
Star Wars Droid Show.
Oh no! Wait. A droid story.
Gonk. A droid story.
Yes.
There we go, gents. We got Gonk. But really.
This epic journey. So the synopsis is this epic journey will introduce us to a new hero guided by our most iconic duo, R2 and 3PO, on a secret mission known only to them. What could possibly go wrong? So this will probably be another animated series somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
sounds
like
cool.
an emotional droid story, like how these droids are created, something like that.
Well, they
But
kind of
that'd be
like
interesting to see.
they kind of half like delved into that when they did Solo. Obviously, L3.
They did.
Yeah,
Yes, I
L3's
remember.
character is very like, pro droid rights for lack of a better kind of term. She wants to like, liberate her people. And it's a shame they haven't explored that since, because I think that's a very, very interesting, reading of the galaxy, because it's easy to forget things like how many characters do not care about their droids. Like Anakin and Padme in Attack of the Clones just take C-3PO away from the Lars homestead and nobody cares. They're like, yeah, take him, fine, whatever. Like, and then
Yeah.
like years later, when 3PO is sold back to Owen and Beru, Owen doesn't even remember him. It's like people in Star Wars just really do not care about droids. I think that's an interesting prospect, but I liked how in this episode you've got a droid who has a connection to the Force. Like,
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
very interesting to see, and like how his goals is to be, a Jedi. Oh, I'm a Jedi, but
I'm a Jedi. It's like in the Suicide Squad when Polka Dot Man's like, I'm a superhero.
Oh yeah, and then he just gets spoilers.
He gets a lovely day. He has a lovely time.
Oh wow, he gets a lovely time being a superhero.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah, I much preferred the second half of this episode. The first
I
half,
agree.
like the way that Toby signals the Empire, I thought was just a little bit flimsy. But after that, I think it was a lot stronger. It's like, oh, this is a message to all Jedi, and then the Empire's like, right, we're gonna kill those guys.
Yeah. But the really interesting thing was, like how the Empire, I forgot the name of it. We don't have a name of the massive lightsaber, but no, the one that fights TOB1.
No, I don't think we do. It's some sort of Dark Lord.
Right, we'll call him Gary. So
Gary.
So Gary came down. Right, Gary.
Wait, did you say Gary? Did you say Jerry or Gary?
Gary.
Okay, Gary.
So Gary thought that fight was interesting.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed the fight visually, but how did Toby, a little droid with a load of other little droids, defeat Gary? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Gary is a god.
Gary is built different.
He really is, but not different enough for a little droid to defeat him, which is a little bit embarrassing.
But it was a bit weird to see, it wasn't well balanced with this episode, because some was like, it's focusing on the scientist with its plans, but then focusing on Toby being TOB1 being a Jedi, and then you got Gary who wants to destroy some of the Jedi, yes, and then with the droids as well. It was a bit okay, yeah. It was an interesting story, so yeah.
Yeah, it was a wholesome story as well.
Yeah,
another one that I think they could continue. I think it's kind of left open ended at the end, where he goes out and he's like, I'm going to continue the work of my master, and I enjoyed that.
I really like that one.
Yeah. So next is The Elder, which is a second one done by Trigger.
Trigger. Yeah.
So they did two. The Elder was
odd.
I think for me, it was my least favorite one in terms of writing.
Yeah, the writing was a bit messed up on this one. Like the script work, I could feel it was like, oh, Dan, you must not fight with this old person, or like in terms of motivation, character motivation, it was a bit weird.
Mm.
So
They I think they tried to make um the master and the apprentice kind of feel a lot more connected. And obviously you've got just about 10 minutes to make them feel properly like they have a relationship. But I don't feel like that was done too
or
well.
explored.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
wasn't explored as much as it could have been. But then they kind of tried to do this whole like thing where the apprentice was like, I presumed that the apprentice was dead. So I think then to go from like that um to like them being alive, I felt like the whole thing was just a little bit flat.
yeah, and like yeah, with the story, it was just a bit flat. I mean, it was pretty cool to have like an old Sith trying to
Yeah.
wait, that kind of Empire. No, whereas Return of the Jedi. Yeah, that ending.
Yeah.
No, fighting with Palpatine. I mean, no, not
Yeah, well,
fighting.
it
Um,
kind of gives me Dooku vibes as well, because
Dooku. Yeah, yeah,
obviously
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dooku's an older Sith as well. I think that just like the this one is one of the ones where the visuals stood out to me so much more than any kind of story elements. The fight that the master and the elder share was, I think, very well done.
Yeah. Um, it it wasn't really engaging this episode. Like, it was more about the dialogue. It was more about like, oh, the Sith hasn't been here for hundreds of years and now they're extinct. But and the relationship between the Jedi and then the Padawan, it was a bit weird. Like, it wasn't that strong connection to it. It was like there, but it wasn't explored. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So the next one is Lop and Ocho, which was done by Geno Studio.
Ah,
I really like this one.
yeah, I really like this one as well. I it was really I keep saying interesting because the show is really interesting. Um, but it had that impact, with them, different paths as well.
Yeah.
Especially what Lop wanted to do with their father.
Mm.
Like, they wanted to be a family.
Yeah,
With
Star Wars is described by George Lucas as a galaxy spanning soap opera. So, family is a huge part of Star Wars. And in this episode, it sent the emotional focus of it being centered around a family, I thought was a good choice, because I felt their connection, and I felt it when it broke, and the way that Lop goes so far, to side with the Empire. I think it's Lop, right? Lop's the one who goes to the Empire.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's
No?
Ocho.
Okay, so Archo's the one who goes. And obviously Lop has to. It's kind of like a story about found family and like blood related family, because obviously Ocho is, she's obsessed with like being, like the heir and like, part of the family, and like trying to do the right thing for the Empire, but then forgets what is important, whereas Lop then has to become the one who takes up the family sword and defends their father, against Ocho, who's kind of lost her mind a little bit.
Yeah, and it was like a bit unexpected, from the start, having that that emotional connection, like, you're gonna be with us now, and then she just turns to the Empire, like, whoa, okay,
Yeah, that was
that's
pretty heartbreaking. I think at the beginning I was a bit like, I don't see why we have to see them meet, but then by the end I understood, how much that
yeah,
they've changed. I really like that.
yeah,
Um,
and
it's great to
um,
explore another corner of the galaxy, but I would have liked to see explore a little bit more about the slavery of Lop's people. I think that might have been a little bit interesting to look at. But again, this is another episode that ends, and I think that you could continue the story in some capacity. You know, Ocho escapes, leaving Lop and her father, you know, who is now blinded. I think that they could totally do more.
Blind. Yes, sorry. Just gets cuts off like, oh no, my good eye. I mean, you had one eye, but okay. But the I really liked, you know, the dynamic between them. Like, it was really heartbreaking to see, you know, that Ocho was going to the Empire, and then Lopo. It's what's it's Lop, not Lopo. Sorry,
Lopo.
Lopo. No, it's a Lop. Like having this, you know, the Jedi sword as well. Sword. I want to call it sword because it does look like a samurai sword, but lightsaber. So the lightsaber, and you know, the whole idea is that inheritance. So like what Ocho was trying to do with like her father, like, I am going to be, you know, in order for the clan, you know, I'm going to be the leader. But then that changes, you know, when Lop gets the lightsaber, and then he says it's not blood related, it's about inheritance, you know, like we're family. Oh my god, family. Oh my god. But
Oh my god.
Vin Diesel
It's
would have
been
loved this
Fast and
episode.
Furious this whole time. Vin Diesel actually played every single character in this episode.
Wow.
He has such range.
And it was so heartbreaking to see. Yeah, just
Definitely.
having that sibling. But you know, that kind of reminded me, you know, the twins, but that Lop and Ocho did it better.
I agree. And Lop and Ocho was a
Yeah.
longer episode as well. So
And
I think
deeply explored. Yeah,
yes,
deeply explored.
definitely. So the final episode is Akakiri, which is done by Science Saru. This is a weird episode to end it on. Because I think it's funny because this one again has the same twist as other episodes. The person who we think is a Jedi is a Sith. Like,
oh my god,
that might be the third time they do that, like in the show. I just thought that was funny because all the I'm pretty sure that all the studios made the episodes like on their own. They didn't talk to each other, so they all like at least 3 of them came up with the same twist, which I think was quite funny.
Yeah, and about like, oh, if you notice this, that nearly every episode has got a bad feeling about this.
Yes, I noticed that too. I was like, okay, I know that it's a Star Wars thing, but like, calm down, all right?
Okay, we've got the reference, man. We got the reference.
We need the reference.
We got a bad feeling. Okay, yeah. This one was a really weird way to end it. Like, it was ends on a dark note, but
yes.
You know.
Well, I like that. I don't think I think that it's bold and interesting to you know, end it with an episode that again ends really dark in a dark place and could be continued if they wanted it to. But I thought this was a beautiful one. I thought, you know, like getting some like of like the different like conditions, because obviously when they're walking across the mountain you get like some rain and some like mist and like I forgot to say, but in the Elder, when they fight with their lightsabers in the rain,
I was about to say that.
I was about to say so cool. It's so just cool, like it's like when we did Clone Wars, and in Clone Wars when Ventress fights Anakin and like the rain is like sizzling the lightsabers. Very, very visually interesting. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, it's so cool to have that detail, and the amount of detail into this show is really cool. Definitely. Yeah, you gotta appreciate that, and you can see going back to Lop and Ocho, you can see the little runes. I don't know, on the lightsaber.
Yeah, right. Especially there are a lot of especially TOB1. That episode has some stunning backgrounds, but the characters are more simplistic, and I thought that was a really nice contrast.
Yeah, and it's so cool to have that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, and at the end of the day, what will you give this out of 10?
I really enjoyed these episodes. The Duel, The Village Bride, Ninth Jedi, Lop and Ocho.
Yeah.
And like how they were the strong ones, but the weaker ones, Tatooine, twins, Elder, and yeah, I think those were the weaker ones. I think, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
end of the
agree
day,
with that.
yeah, end of the day, I feel like I want to give it an 8 or 7 because depending on like the start, the animation and the story, the good episodes, that the really best episodes, that the Jewel Village Bride and like all the things that I mentioned, like those were the really strong
It's fair to say
episodes.
there was something to like in every episode, whether it be the animation, whether it be the action, whether it be some of
Yeah,
the acting. I think that was all
yeah,
pretty cool. I agree. I'd go 7 out of 10 as well. I enjoyed it
yeah,
more than the Bad Batch, not by
yeah,
much, but I did enjoy it more than the Bad Batch just by a little bit, just because it's
yeah,
something more new. And I think the Bad Batch had a bit more of stuff that I had more problems with that show. But like, yeah. Do you want a
yeah,
season two? Would you want a season two? And if
yeah.
so,
Of course, like
well, in that
it's
if that's the case, do you want the same studios or new studios or both? So some can like continue stories, some can like try new things. What do you
right.
think?
I think both new studios, like you can both. Sorry, you both
Yeah.
new and old. Like I want to continue the story on La Pinocho,
Yep.
and that's it. I think. Well, I don't know. Wait.
Yeah, no,
Or
I
the
agree.
Jewel? Oh, I don't know.
I
Oh, I don't
think
know.
the only one that I would like to see probably Lopinocho and the Ninth Jedi.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'd
yeah,
like
yeah.
to see those ones done.
Ninth Jedi. Yeah, those are the only episodes that I really want them to continue because, but the other episodes I really liked, it was like only, it felt like one episode only, in it, like to show the character like really well in one short episode. So yeah, like the Jewel, that was great. Really good, snappy, simple, and such a strong introduction to the season. So yeah, so 7 out of 10. Yeah, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
Brilliant. Let's move on. Now, before we do weekly viewing, there is something that I need to say.
Mm.
Now, this is something that means a lot to me. But John, the king has returned.
What king?
The king. Russell the Davis
Oh,
is coming back to Doctor Who. Thank God,
he's
this
back.
is the greatest news ever.
Yeah, this is the best news ever. He's back. Oh my God.
I'm so happy. I mean, listen, I'm not a fan of Chibnall stuff, and I'm so happy that the 60th anniversary is going to be written by Russell the Davis. I'm so happy. Honestly, like in my opinion, Russell T Davis, his 4 seasons of Doctor Who are the best, like in terms of storytelling. Do they have my favorite doctors? No. Do they have my favorite companions? No. Do they have some of my favorite episodes? No. Are they the best overall? Probably. And if you've seen Years and Years, which was one of Russell T Davis's shows in 2019, if you've seen It's a Sin, which I haven't, but I hear it's incredible, we know that Russell T Davis has grown as a writer, and I think he's going to bring some incredible stuff to Doctor Who. He revived it, he brought it back, and now he's going to take it out of a black hole and make it beautiful again.
Just when I think when I finished with Doctor Who, like we were just so depressed, like about like what was happening, and they just pull us back in. Like,
yeah, man,
they got Russell T Davis, man. You got Russell T Davis.
Hey, John, I've got good news for you.
What?
We're probably going to cover the Chris Chibnall stuff on the podcast before the Russell T Davis stuff starts. I'm sorry. No, we'll probably do. I think what I'm planning is that when they do it in 2023, so this is November 2023, a long time away, we'll do like best of every Doctor. So we'll do Family of Blood, we'll do Water of Mars, we'll do 11th Hour, we'll do Pandorica Opens, we'll do Heaven Sent, we'll do like all that stuff. But yeah, the King has returned. I'm so happy. I don't even like. Did you see what he posted on Instagram today?
Let me have a look. Let me have a look.
No, it's all right. I'll send it to you. There you go.
Russell.
It may or may not be on screen, but
oh my God.
Posted, I know, right?
Day 1.
He just posted a picture of him like leaning against like a broken Dalek, and it's just so like, oh,
Okay, that's iconic.
he's
That.
back. It is iconic. Look at him. What a guy. That's gonna be on
Oh
screen
my
right now.
god.
Okay,
So
like
day
what a
one,
dude.
day
What a
one.
dude.
Oh my god.
He's
Wow.
back. He's back. Aha! I can't believe it. This is what it's like, right?
Uh,
I saw a meme on Twitter, and this is tell you what it's like. It's like if you go back to the First World War, if you're a time traveler and you go to the First World War, and you say World War One, and they're like, "What do you mean one?"
uh,
Right? And you're like, "Oh, spoilers because World War Two." It's like when you go back. It's like you meet a time traveler, and they're like, "Oh, what era of Doctor Who is it? Oh, it's Russell Davis. Which one? One or two?" Like, who would have thought that he would ever come back? I didn't. Like, what does this? What does this mean? Does this mean that
such a
Moffat could come back?
massive plot twist that.
It's
Just
a
like,
huge plot twist. I love it.
yeah.
This is gonna be great.
Oh man. So amazed that he's back. Oh my god.
Brilliant, absolutely amazing. Obviously, we don't do the news anymore, but I had to say it. I had to tell you all. This is incredible news. So good, so good. Right, let's go viewing. What have you watched this week?
Let me have a look. What? Because I've been busy watching Cowboy Bebop all week.
Okay, well, just tell me. I've only got one thing this week, so just you only need one thing, and then we'll head out.
Um.
But we only have 10 minutes left on the Zoom
Okay.
call, so keep it about like 4 minutes.
Okay, so far I'm just gonna tell you how far I'm enjoying Cowboy Bebop.
Do it.
Right, I'm not gonna rate it, but okay, so Cowboy Bebop is last week I think I talked about a bit more, but now I'm more a lot more into the episodes. So now on episode 8, yeah, and it's so cool. Like the music and the philosophical questions like throughout the episodes, and like it really makes you think about like the whole the story and characters, and it gets real. I mean, it gets like that emotional, realistic connection with the characters. Like we follow Spike and about like his past, his journey, and like how it kind of reminds me of the stuff that I was watching for Neon Genesis Evangelion, but this was more realistic on the terms of like some of the, like the dialogue is like introspective, like it brings out a lot more meaning if you watch it into it, if you know what I mean. And I am really enjoying it so far. And I've been recommended a lot of animes right now because I've been talking about Cowboy Bebop, and
Yeah,
so
man, it sounds like you're going on a real anime kick at the moment.
but I'm not going to be like a huge one like, oh my god, have you seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? But
yeah, I've heard bad things about that one. So.
Yeah, I heard about bad things about one as well. But I've been recommended by a lot of people. Like they've been telling me to watch Tokyo Revengers, Full Metal Alchemist, Naruto, like some crazy shows. But the crazy thing about Naruto is that it's got 700 episodes, and the most important episodes that you gotta watch are only 400 episodes.
Only for what? That's insane. That is insane.
I don't know what to say, Tom. They said
how long's each episode?
22 minutes.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, right. So 300. Right. Okay. So, okay, that's gonna be a long time to consume. Oh my god. But I'm gonna watch like some of the most. Oh, and then there's the most. A lot of people have been saying, oh, you should watch this really good show on Netflix called Samurai Champloo, which is the same creator who did Cowboy Bebop, and it's a great show. So I recommend that as well. So people have been doing that. So yeah. I'm enjoying Cowboy Bebop. Tom, what have you been watching?
Well, it's been a couple of weeks, but I continued my soiree across the Daniel Craig James Bond films. Obviously, next week on the podcast, we're going to talk about No Time to Die. I'm so excited. I've got my tickets booked for Thursday. If they delay it again, I am going to kill somebody. I'm going to be so annoyed. But yes, I watched Quantum of Solace. Now, Quantum of Solace is a very like controversial one because obviously people kind of the general consensus is the Daniel Craig Bond films, Casino Royale is great, Skyfall is great, Quantum of Solace isn't great, and Spectre isn't great. But I'd only seen Quantum of Solace once. I didn't remember a single thing. And immediately I was like, oh, this is bad. And I have to say, it wasn't bad. Actually, I really enjoyed it. Now, I have to say, the action in this is dreadful. It's overcut to hell. You can't see what's going on half the time. They're trying to replicate the whole Jason Bourne style of like action where it's like, like close cut, like, like every hit is like a different cut. And it works well for those films because they do it well. Like, like the director and the editor, like, clearly know how to do it. But this is just like so disorienting and, but it's not a super action heavy film. What I really enjoyed about it is that it was a character study of Bond. In Casino Royale, I'm not going to spoil it, but Bond goes through a really big loss in his life. And Quantum of Solace literally is Bond finding solace. It's him, coming to terms with that, and coming to terms with the kind of person he is. He uses people and those people die, his friends die. And it was a beautiful character study. I really enjoyed it. I mean, not all the aspects were completely ironed out. As I said, the action wasn't great. The villain, again, he could have been a lot better. And some of the aspects of the plot, main plot surrounded it. But the characters were very, very well done, I thought. And I was really impressed because I hadn't heard anything good about Quantum of Solace ever. And it was one of just the most surprising things because, I don't expect much from James Bond most of the time, but I was really surprised how much most James Bond films aren't direct sequels, but this one really is a direct sequel to Casino Royale. And it shows, kind of Bond going through his last attachment and, and fully becoming the Bond that we know. Like the film ends with the classic Bond walk where he shoots the down the barrel. And that was just so rewarding. And yeah, I was just so surprised and I'm really impressed by it. It continues the story of Casino Royale really well. And I think that if you've watched it before and you didn't like it, rewatch it. Or just if you haven't watched it before, it's definitely one of the best Bonds. Now having seen 22 of them, having rewatched 22 of them before No Time to Die, I can say that it's actually one of the better ones. And it's aged really well. The Bond girl doesn't even like get with James Bond. And I loved that because I think the Bond girl is a really tiring trope. But yeah, I think I'd give it a 7 out of 10. So, like solid Bond film, not amazing, but really solid and surprising. So I think because I was so surprised, I'm a lot more positive than I would have been otherwise. But yeah, I was very impressed. Take us out, John.
Can I just add one more thing? Sorry.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Okay, so I'm not going to review it, but it was just a film that I had to experience. So, so in my film studies, we are watching experimental films.
Mm-hmm.
I have you watched experimental films?
Yeah, we did experimental. I don't know if it's the same film as what you did.
But you did Pulp Fiction, right?
We did, yeah.
So we were watching a film called I don't have to say it, but Vis-a-Vis. It's a French film.
Yes, yeah, I remember that was the other one on the course.
Yeah, and it was such a weird film. Like, okay, but in terms of weird, like not The Lighthouse weird or Annette weird or something like that. The film itself is just strange. Not like okay, so with the story, it was all over the place. I mean, this is experimental. Like you're not supposed to understand the narrative, but then again, it does show you the narrative, but it just strips away from that. Sometimes it was so bizarre, and I don't know how to review experimental films. It was just like it's more about the director's ability, not like what's it showing. But yeah, it was weird. I had to tell you that, but yeah, that was it really. But it was just not really. It wasn't pleasant to watch. Really, it was just so confusing.
I don't understand. Because we've taken the same film course, and I don't understand why they changed Pulp Fiction, because in my opinion, Pulp Fiction was an incredibly easy film to study. You know, Tarantino
Oh,
is a really, you know, good director to just, you know, look at and unpeel all of his like things. And, you know, I think that you would have killed it at Pulp Fiction.
oh, they said that was really hard to do.
No, I found it was really easy. And I think that the teachers might have found it difficult to do, but I remember me and all my friends in the class found it easy. So yeah.
Oh, that's strange
Yeah.
because we're finding the film incredibly hard.
Right. Yeah,
We're
well,
finding it so we're finding it really hard now. Like it's just like, oh, the director's doing this and this and this, but no, it's just not. It's not really getting it really anywhere. It's just, yeah, it was weird, but yeah, that was something I had to tell. Well, I watched.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't.
so
Yeah.
yeah, take us out then.
Okay, sorry to end it on that, but
That's fine.
so thank you for listening in for this episode. We've just been through a lot of really good episodes with Visions, and if you haven't watched it, I would recommend it if you're an anime fan and Star Wars. But
Definitely.
they're the strong episodes that you really want to watch, so I would recommend that.
Of course, if you enjoyed it, give it a like. Why
Yeah,
the
give it
hell
a like,
not?
man. Give
And
it a like.
subscribe
Yeah.
if you want to see more. Next week, we're doing No Time to Die, heavily awaited James Bond film. I'm very excited for that. And the week after that, we're doing all 10? No, all 9 Wes Anderson films ranked, which is going to be great. John, I don't know
Yeah.
where you are. I still have 3 to watch, but yeah, I've got about 2 weeks to watch the
I
rest.
just need to watch the Darling.
Darjeeling Limited.
Yeah, yes, I need to
Yeah.
watch that, and I just need to The Life Aquatic.
Uh-huh.
I think that's it.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I'll
Okay.
have to check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we'll be doing that. If you want to like share your thoughts on anything that we've discussed about Doctor Who, about Visions, about any of the things we talked about, or you know, ask us questions or anything, you can email us at outoftimefilmpod.com@gmail.com, or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at outoftimefilmpod, or follow me on Twitter at Tom the Bodman, even though it's just me liking and retweeting stuff. I don't really say much, but you can get some opinions on the main Twitter. And yeah, stay safe, everyone.
Yeah, stay safe. Yeah.
And I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, wait.
Whoa.
One thing. Sorry. So sorry. Can I just chip in like the hilarious stuff? Chris Pratt's gonna voice.
Oh no. Yeah, Chris Pratt is gonna voice Mario. Why?
Oh my God.
Why? Who
thought
thought that was a good idea?
And then Jack Black is gonna play as Bowser.
What? Honestly, if you're gonna many people have said this, but if you're gonna cast Charlie Day as Luigi, cast Danny DeVito as Mario. Come on.
Yeah,
It would have been great. That'd have been awesome.
no, great. Okay, sorry to end that. Okay, thank you for listening in. Chris Pratt as Mario, ladies and gents. You cannot wait. And a Taylor-Joy as Peach.
Yes. Why the hell not? We're
Okay,
definitely gonna cover that one. 100%.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Right. Oh my God. Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, take what you're given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
It's me,
Mario.
Luigi.
What was that? I don't even know what that was.
I don't know. End it now.
Okay, I'm just going.